This is zircon, not to be confused with cubic zirconium, which is a lab-created synthetic diamond rough. This is zircon, which is a natural gemstone, and the color green is the rarest of all the zircons, of all the colors that zircon comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece. It weighs in about 2.07 carats. And I'll cut this piece of green zircon today. Opie, my wife, wants me to cut a kite-shaped design, and I found one which I like in one of the books by the late Jeff Graham, which I have. The design is called Flight of Blue, and although my zircon is green, the rough is shaped like a kite, so I think this design will work fine. This is how my zircon should look once I cut it with this design. This design can be found in Jeff's book, More Money Cuts, Additional Designs number 7. Since this design is copyrighted, I can't show you the cutting instructions, but if you do like the design, you can buy the book. I don't think you'll find any of Jeff's books online in any of the used book sites, eBay, Amazon, or wherever, but you can always try. This book is still available. You can buy it from the lapidary supply store called The Rock Peddler, and I just haven't seen Jeff's books available anywhere else. If you do know of other sellers of Jeff's books, please let us all know in the comments. What I can share with you is that there's not a lot of facets in this design, which is why Jeff called these designs money cuts. You do have to hit the length to width ratio just right for the design to cut properly. And this design has a pretty good light return of 80.6%. And although it was designed for gemstone rough with a refractive index of 1.56, which is the refractive index for the beryl family, which includes emeralds, aquamarine, morganite, golden beryl or heliodor, and goshenite gemstones, among others. Jeff says that the design works well in tourmaline and topaz, and I think it will work well in zircon also. Let's find out. For our Flight of Blue design, I have a rather small gemstone, so I started preforming with a 600 grit topper, and then went to my 12M, which is about a 1500 grit lap. I probably could go straight to polish from here, but I'm going to pre-polish this gemstone with 8K diamond on a zinc lap, and then go to polish using a 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap. Now, I am finding that the design, the way it is written, is not the order that I would cut the facets in. A little confusing to me, but that's why I kind of wish I had the design in Gem Cut Studio so I could adjust the order and make it simpler for me. Now this is a kite shape design with step cuts in the pavilion or the bottom, and like I said earlier, you have to make sure the length and width are exactly on, or else your facets won't line up. One unique feature that Jeff incorporated into this design is that after you set the width of your kite shape, to set the length, there is a flat bottom part right here, the girdle part. And this one girdle facet allows you to easily reduce the length of your stone until you have the perfect length to width ratio. Pretty interesting feature. Now I'll go to pre-polish this gemstone with 8K diamond on a zinc lap. Okay, our aquamarine polished dried up. I used a 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap, and it's coming along nicely. So now I'll transfer our stone and cut the upper half. Okay, for transferring our stone, you'll notice the center point of the stone is not actually the culet, the point here, is not actually center on the stone. So when we're going to attach it to this dop, it's not center. Center would be about here. So you can't use a round dop like this, right? You need to use a V-shaped dop like this. So I've got a V-shaped dop that's going to go down the culet of our stone. And so what we'll do is we'll put in a drop of our super glue and lower the top stone onto the top. Okay, so I usually turn the transfer fixture over to let gravity kind of help the glue flow on a little bit onto the stone, a little bit onto the top, and then all I do is hit it with the UV light, and it takes about 2 seconds, and then it will set up. The glue will cure, like I said, two seconds, and you're ready to continue cutting the gemstone. And you can touch it and see that it's set. Okay, our aquamarine polished right up with 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap. So now I'll set up the stone in my machine to cut and polish the table, and we'll be done with our kite shape. So with the Ultratech, they give you an alternative retention knob, which is what I use. They have one that has a head, and this one's headless. And the advantage is when you use this one, you need to use your Allen wrench. But to set your stone up to cut the table, you simply remove the stone and the dop, and you turn the retention knob in so that the tabling adapter slides right over your quill, and you don't have to remove the retention knob at all. If you do remove the tension knob, there's a place on the machine right there where you would screw your retention knob into so you don't lose it. But I just pushed mine all the way in, and then I'll set up my tabling adapter. So this is the tabling adapter that comes with the Ultratech. It's also called a 45-degree adapter by plenty of people, because when it's used, it makes the angle 45 degrees, and then you set the angle on your machine at 45 degrees, and that gives you a 90-degree angle to cut the table straight down. This just slides onto your quill right over the retention knob. And then I use the tabling aligner, and that makes sure that the stone is flush onto your tabling, onto your quill. So you simply use the tabling aligner, push that down so you can see it. So you put your angle at 45 degrees, and then with the tabling adapter and the aligner, you slide those on to your quill, and the tabling aligner makes sure that it's not, the stone is flat, not on either angle, so that you get a flat table. And then you simply tighten up these two set screws, and you put your stone and your dop into your table adapter. And you set this set screw to hold it in place. And now you're ready to cut the table. Okay, it's a small stone with a small stick table, so I pre-polished it with my 12M. That's the first lap I used, which is a sintered lap, about a 1500 grit. Then I went to 13,000 grit diamond on a bat lap, and then my 60,000 grit diamond on a bat lap, polished it right up. So now I'll soak the stone in acetone, we'll weigh it, measure it, and send it off to BOPIE. Today I cut a kite-shaped design called Flight of Blue using zircon rough. This design can be found in Jeff Graham's book, Editions number 7, and is copyrighted, so unfortunately I can't show you the cutting instructions. You'll have to buy the book to get those cutting instructions. However, Jeff Graham did release about 24 of his best designs into the public domain so you can cut other designs by Jeff to see if you like his designs. Personally, I do like Jeff's designs. The Flight of Blue design is not difficult to cut, but you do have to get the length and width just right, or you're going to have problems getting the other facets to line up. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this design. And if you have cut this design before, let me know what material you used to cut and how it turned out. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.